Thank you all for this possibility to present our study. I would like to speak to you today about implementation of study protocols, and I will do this using two of our recent studies, the DoubleCheck and the SmartCheck study. These are our disclosures. We received an educational grant from Medtronic. And it all started at some day with the idea that we wanted to prevent, of course, anastomotic leakage. No one wants that to happen. So we thought among all the known risk factors, some must be modifiable for the surgeons. So we started identifying them with the LeakCheck study. It was already published in 2020, and we implemented an additional timeout moment intraoperative, just prior to the creation of the anastomosis, scoring multiple potentially modifiable risk factors for anastomotic leakage. And we found, as you see in the table below, risk factors that were associated with anastomotic leakage in colorectal patients. And those numbers were so significant, we needed to do something with them. Another very interesting result from this study was if you see the number of risk factors present and you see the number of patients with anastomotic leakage, you see how important those factors are. So we wanted to reduce those factors in those patients. So the subsequent studies needed to improve the intraoperative condition by enhancing the intraoperative condition, and we wanted to determine its effect on anastomotic leakage. And this was our care bundle, so all based on, of course, those factors identified by the LeakCheck study. We wanted to detect and correct preoperative anemia. We wanted to detect and correct pre- and intraoperative hypoglycemia. We wanted to do the right timing of antibiotic prophylaxis, attain normothermia, normovolemia, and no epidural when possible, of course. And we implemented those in two studies, the DoubleCheck study and the SmartCheck study. Both were prospective open-label studies with the same intraoperative checklist used as in the LeakCheck study, scoring those factors. Of course, we also scored the 30 and 90-day anastomotic leakage. In the DoubleCheck study, this enhanced care bundle was obligated, so we really went to the hospitals and implemented it into the standard care protocol. And in the SmartCheck study, we just gave them the information, helped them wherever we could, but it was free compliance for the surgeons. And among those two studies, the majority of them, of the patients was collected in the DoubleCheck study, and 25% in the SmartCheck study. And if you look at the mean risk factor present, of the number of risk factors present, you see that in the historical LeakCheck study, it was 1.84, and it went down to 1.63 in the obligated group. But in the group where you just give them the information and don't really make sure they do it that way you want them to, you see there's not that much a difference from the historical group. But what does it say? A mean number of risk factors. So we really wanted to look at the group with a lot of risk factors present. So if you look at the table on the right side, which I showed previously, the group that leaks is the group which has a lot of factors present. So we wanted, it's not really about getting from 1 to 0, but it's really about getting from 6 to 4 or from 5 to 3. Those are the patients you want to modify. And you can see that in the LeakCheck group, the high risk patients were 28.2%, and it really went down in the other studies. with, of course, the DoubleCheck being very good in reducing the risk of having a high chance of leakage. Then in the SmartCheck study just finished, so we haven't got the information about the 90 days of anastomotic leakage, but in the DoubleCheck we do. We just passed the 90 days, and you luckily see also a reduction in anastomotic leakage. So enhancing the intraoperative condition of patients by minimizing exposure to those risk factors really also reduced colorectal anastomotic leakage. And this was in both univariate and multivariate regression analysis a significant reduction. So in conclusion, first of all, the enhanced care bundle worked and declined the anastomotic leakage rate significantly. And it showed also that obligated implementation of a study protocol, so really making sure all the surgeons, but not only the surgeons, the whole team is part of the job, and really implementing it in standard care bundles helps. And of course, we need to see what happens with the SmartCheck anastomotic leakage rates. But I think there's a clear picture now of how we should implement studies. And we just go forward with our mission to reduce anastomotic leakage. So thank you for your attention. And if there are any questions, I'm happy to answer them.